as we continue in the Bhakti Yoga path over this year, I will introduce kirtans and bhajans and chants that will just purify your heart, your tears, your eyes will shed tears. These are written by Baba, and they have such a magic. They're written by my Guru, and they have such a magic. And so whenever my heart gets a bit too territorial, and my lungs, my liver, my stomach, my brain, everything shrinks to accommodate my ego, and invariably it makes me suffer, by going into rajas or tamas mode, a crazy mode or a dark mode. That's when I have to chant those bhajans and kirtans, which have meaning. They are not just the name of the divine truth, but they are remembrance. They are remembrance inspiring, they're Shraddha inspiring, Bhakti inspiring words. And gradually everything just comes back to size, The ego no longer remains distended. And when you've chanted it enough and you've done it enough, there does come a time when you don't have to suffer from egoitis. You don't have to. And I do want to focus on the teachings of the yoga path, because Bhakti Yoga connects us to the universal divinity. It connects people of every religion, even atheists and agnostics, in the dance that we are all dancing together. And Bhakti Yoga kind of just leads us into the next path of Karma Yoga. It releases us to become free, bold, and clear-headed actors on the world stage. Karma means action. And a lot of our actions have such dark consequences that we deal with them not only this lifetime, but even future lifetimes. How do we perform actions that we become free at the same time? And it's deeply connected to Bhakti Yoga. There really is no understanding of Karma Yoga without Bhakti Yoga. And that's why in the Vedic way, I thought, let me create a little space where I can systematically unload Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. After Karma Yoga comes Upasana Yoga. These are very special mantras, practices, which are going to unleash within you the next level of divine awareness and divine peace and divine potential. Some of my older students are aware of my very rare and secret Gayatri Mantra teachings and all of that, which is which I will unfold in this third year. And I don't unfold those easily. You don't go around the world teaching the Gayatri Mantra secret teachings. People have to be prepared for it. And Upasana Yoga, consider it like a bridge. It's just a bridge. It's just like filling every corridor in your heart with peace and light and well-being. And by the time you're studying Upasana Yoga, people are looking at you with new eyes. With Bhakti Yoga, you become less restless, less full of angst. With Karma Yoga, you become a bit more successful. With Upasana Yoga, you truly become holy and whole. And then with Jnana Yoga, if Ishwara supports my sankalpa to unfold Jnana Yoga in the 4th year from now, then something will happen. And I can't imagine students traveling with me over the years into that journey. What's going to happen? Are we going to suddenly release into this earth and its atmosphere of darkness and Kali Yuga and hatred and racism and inequality and war? These light-filled beings in Jnana Yoga who don't just intellectually know they are one with the divine, but they know that they have a divine agenda. What's going to happen? I imagine that. And the best part is that if I continue teaching, I will once again start with Bhakti Yoga right after. So I'll just keep teaching it. Every 4 years, I'll take people through a journey. It's my decision. And no matter when people join, because whether you've joined from the beginning, you've been with me for like 15 years, or you've just been with me for 15 minutes. It doesn't matter, because Ishwara's timing, cosmic timing, is unique. Because you've studied with me more years does not make you a more evolved soul. And the souls that are yet to come into this program, into this path, they may be so evolved, they can only join later and it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter. This is all what the ego does. Oh, I joined late, I joined so early, I know more, I know Sanskrit, I don't know this, I don't have ADHD, so I won't remember. This is just all the ego's lamentations and superstitions, and also it's suffocating self-gloating. But we don't even blame the ego now. We say, oh, this little ego, when I'm separate from you, I feel so lost. But when I start seeing you as close to me, I feel a little found. And when I find you in me, all the stupidity comes down and I realize this was just a leela, a divine play, in which as if a divine being was running around like a chicken with their head cut off until they realize that nothing, you're invincible from within. Therefore, remember this teaching of why Shraddha or conviction, which is built systematically through hearing, Shravanam, through Mananam, contemplation, and through practice, through community, Sangha. This Shraddha is very important. The yoga that we are going into is Bhakti. This Bhakti, many times you will find that you just close your eyes, or you are participating in your human roles, but you are in a meditative, absorbed space, and you will experience a state of yoga. So yoga is not some far-off journey. Start keeping a journal and start noticing what you feel, how you encounter the divine in so many ways. Let me write those ways, is what I would say to you. This bhava, this emotion that we are connecting with the divine. It's not even the intellect at this point. Not even that. Is strengthened by cultivating purer emotions in our day-to-day life. We can have them towards our teacher, our community, and we can have purer emotions even towards the different characters we meet in our life. Some are pleasant, some are unpleasant. I'm not saying that unpleasant people have to be worshipped by you as God and pleasant people have to be then over-worshipped by you. No, but at least you can see them as cosmic characters in your divine play. And you may not know it why, but there is a divine reason for this to be happening in your field. And ultimately, when you close your eyes and meditate, which I invite you to, then imagine in Bhakti Yoga that there is God as your own self is dwelling within, which is eternal, which is indestructible, and the body that you have is a mere clothing. While the difference between we individual God vessels and Ishwara is that as an individual, we possess one ego or one sense of identity that identifies with one body. Like the ego called Acharya Shunya is identified with this body, 5 feet, 4 or 5 inches, and brown skin, like those kind of features, right? It identifies with this body. But Ishwara or divine allness, because it's beyond ego, it does not identify with one body and one mind alone. It does not identify with that. So God identifies with all bodies and all minds. So from the tiny ant and billions and trillions of ants to elephants and horses and humans and flowers and trees, and every little blade of grass has an ego, like a sense of self, whether it's a kind of a cultivated sense of self or a raw sense of self, but everyone got Ishwara. So it does not stick to one body. It is coming to us through all bodies. And as humans, as a human container of Ishwara, you have specific mind and intellect, and you have limited capacity for knowledge. Because Ishwara is not connected to one mind, so Ishwara is the mind of this universe and beyond. It can't just be the universal mind because it has created the universe. So it is even beyond that. It is transcendental. And Ishwara is therefore all-knowing. Ishwara is aware of your past. That intelligence is aware of your past, your present moment, and your future right now. And every detail of every existence, when this bee will be born, when it will change its form, when it will die, when this molecule will separate from this molecule, when night will turn day in Pluto on Earth, everything is in the knowledge of Ishwara, that divine, omniscient dimension. We cannot read Upanishads and go, oh, this is a person. No. Then we individuals have, until we have a state of yoga with Ishwara, we have limited power. We can have powers that we are proud of, we can show off, we can be awarded for them, we can develop our rockets and our technology and our internet and our social media, but at the end of the day, these powers are limited. Whereas Ishwara, which is the power that allows these powers to be, is the ultimate power, is Shakti itself, possessing absolute Shakti, absolute power. And that is why Ishwara is the support and the substratum of this universe and multi-universes. Not just one galaxy, but millions of galaxies. Just imagine that. Can you just imagine the concept of this quantum God? The 5 elements, space, air, fire, water, earth, are wielded as per the power of Ishwara. So we have one body, one mind. Ishwara has infinite bodies, infinite minds. We have limited knowledge and barely remember what we ate 3 days ago. I don't remember what I wore yesterday. What to know of our past, our present, our future, everything is immediately known by this dimension. Infinite mind. Small mind, infinite mind. Small power, infinite power. And that is why Bhakti Yoga is really connecting in our heart and saying, okay, bring it on. I want to serenade and love and rejoice in this Ishwara, in this amazing controller of the universe and me. And no wonder you and I can be in one body, and so we are stuck to being in one place, like right now on this Zoom call at this time. We really can't be in any other place at the same time, can we? But Ishwara, because it is coming through infinite bodies, can be everywhere and anywhere at any time. So it's not like Shunya is calling upon Ishwara, so now Ishwara is not available for a student of mine. No. Ishwara, the Christians are calling upon the Ishwara, so Hindus don't have it. No. This not God person, but God principle. God is principle. Functions through every body, every particle, existence and non-existence. And hence is all pervading. May you, when I give you these examples, the ego becomes smaller. But this kind of smallness is not the smallness that we experience when others berate us, or humiliate us, or judge us. This is the smallness where I feel proud to be a tiny particle in this massive universe, which is so intelligent. And what's happening right now, me teaching you and you listening to me, is meant to be Ishwara ordained. So when we develop this emotion, this ache to know this Ishwara, to be with this Ishwara, to connect with the Ishwara dimension, principle, gradually our other emotional sorrows, this is the bhava part, it calms down. We've heard of people who say, nothing is working for me, but I am connected to something fine. I feel okay. I get up in the morning, I go to my version of whatever that Ishwara looks like on my altar, whether it's a rock, whether it's a flower, whether it's a deity, whether it's Eastern or Western, doesn't matter. And I close my eyes and I go from a state of Shraddha, intellectual conviction, to Bhakti, emotional blossoming, to Dhyana, meditative remembrance, to Yoga, heart union. And I get like power and confidence and strength, and I choose myself all over again, and all the darkness that came my way, I find a lot of light, and I go back and I have a wonderful day. People actually say that when they are bhaktas, when they are bhakti yogis are called bhaktas. And as this continues, an attainment of ananda, bliss. Because why? Because Ishwara is eternal existence, infinite intelligence, and unbelievable bliss. So there is this sense of well-being, this okayness, this wholeness that bhaktas experience. So what is that bhava like? What is that emotion like? I feel good. I feel whole. And because Ishwara is not just in one body, but coming through every body, this sense of like, I must have something else or another body to be with me, or some food and some designer clothes and a human body to touch, and then I'll be happy. Those things reduce. One kind of starts becoming content. Bhakti Yoga is not demanding you to lead a life separate from the material world, but there are bhaktas, and I'll tell you their story next time. I will tell you the story of two Bhakti yoginis next time. I will share the details with you of what happened, how they went beyond sorrow, how they experienced bliss, and how they became content in their own company. And the people who are content in their company, it's very interesting, they're never alone. You know why? Because they're magnetic. Everybody wants to be with you if you're content with you. See, most people are empty. Most people are looking for someone else to fulfill them. And so when you go near them, intuitively you know that they can't fulfill you because they are themselves empty. That rare person who is content and who likes themselves and who is pleased from within due to spiritual reasons, they are magnetic. They may be sitting in simple clothes under a tree and everybody wants to be with them. They may not have flashy media and other things to impress you, but you like listening to them. Why? Because they like themselves. Because they have gone beyond sorrow. Because they see everything as a blessing from Ishwara. Because they are feeling inwardly blissful and content. And that is why these two yoginis are so famous. They lived many centuries ago in India, and till today we talk about them. And in fact, I might share with you some of their kirtans next time. So I close today's satsang with a reminder of this connection between Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, and the state of yoga. And Dhyana, I just want to add one more thing, that you really have to go beyond the typical teaching of Dhyana as close your eyes and watch your thoughts. Dhyana is a state of deep absorption. Dhyana is a state where the soul becomes more active and the mind becomes quieter. This can happen when you're watching the sunrise. And it can happen when you are listening to a kirtan or you're thinking about Ishwara or your guru. The state of spontaneous stillness, where the sakshi or the inner witness is more available than the actor, the noisy mind. That's dhyana. That happens in bhakti. And in that moment, you sip you taste the nectar of bhakti. You go beyond sorrow. You become content. You become blissful. And the bhava part I wanted to explain to you is what happens to the ego. It becomes tiny and happy to be a part of the divine play, or it becomes big because it is filled with the grace and light and the intelligence and the wisdom and the power of that Ishwara. Every bhakta is happy to be humble and happy to be a source of well-being and bliss and power for others. Neither the humbleness is fake, nor the strength is fake. I welcome you again and again to my Vedic way. We are still picking up on Bhakti Yoga. These are still very basic concepts. Write me your messages and share it on the Vedic Way platform, and I will be informed about your journey. Jai Ma.